So he said, oh, okay, all right, all right, so this is great, right? Because you got a whole new, platform, if you will. And I'm just saying, what it is, on Temple alone, and you say, oh, well, we don't need anybody dicking around, right? You know what I mean? What I mean by that is a southern term for selling the sell. What you're trying to say is like, well, if you want Sheamus alone with a say person, say you go New Yorker, right? You go, I want Sheamus alone with a platform, and say, well, I want something from this as well. I don't want to be like, I'm getting my digs, but I'm not really getting digs, true monetary digs, or just I'm getting sentimental value digs, but that's not panning out in digs. You know what I mean? New Yorkers alone on this. Now, this been going on like these equating going on for about a week, right? Okay, you do one thing to one side, you do it to the other. Given, I've known about this for 15 minutes now. People have known about this for about 40, 72, about 3 hours. Okay, New Yorkers still alone. It can work because I've seen it before on an objection to say Sheamus alone. This is political spheres. Have you seen what sphere have you seen? Hey, Whitfield's on the weekends. I mean, but that's different. That's totally different. I mean, you know what I mean? And to be honest with you, it almost is like comparing Shudo to like say a Jake Tapper. Like, you know what? You didn't see her on Fox. You don't talk about. You don't even know her name. You're right. But you see it on Cooper. So, and if you see it on Cooper, you see it on Tucker Carlson. You see it on Tucker Carlson, you see it on Cooper. So, give it that. I'm not saying New Yorkers on everybody in New York never know what I'm talking about. But at the same time, if you're gonna have this platform, you can say, well, 6 o'clock slot is open now. I'm like, well, you know what? I got a couple complaints in terms, and not vice versa, but in verses alone, i.e. Okay, so that's the whole thing. Like, so I'm like, so yeah, so adequate representations would be fair, would be totally fair, in a sense that, well, wait a minute, you get adequate representations, I get adequate representations. You understand what I'm talking about? Because it can't always be like, well, something like, you know what I mean, like, yeah, screw that. You know what I mean, talking about, we don't want her there. And so, see, you start making jokes instead of doing all that. You start, no, I'm not saying that's funny, but if you got a Watergate flow like to it, you got a Watergate floodgate flow to it, right? It says, oh well, this is not represented. Weekends, who watches on the weekends really? Everybody, I mean, it's just okay. All the reason I say that is because it's in correlation to what I'm saying is like saying, oh well, then you're gonna cause favoritism on one side. You're gonna say there's an unwell balance. Well, who really cuts the check at the end of the day? Then you say O'Reilly factor, and then you say who really does this, and then you say go back and forth and this, and then you just go back and forth, and then you say Wall Street's looking and Main Street's looking, and all this other stuff, and then it starts throwing off everybody, and then you like don't know how long it's gonna last. And then you're like, well, why don't you just take a break for it? Well, what do you want from it? What are you grateful for? What have you been saying? I've been grateful for a few things. I've been saying, but I'm unappreciative of a few things as well, which I'm not grateful for. So now, but I am grateful for the things that I've constantly said I'm grateful for. And given that, so I'm going to give you good wheels on that. And the 6 o'clock slot and whatnot. And hopefully, it's what she said on the Shaking Mouse I did earlier on, like, prequel prep talk show. You know what I mean? So, like, you know what I mean? Oh, it was great, man. I watched Stella and found it was great, man. Go ahead. All right, yeah, I've been doing this since 13, you know what I mean? 30, 40, what are you talking about? And then you start, everybody starts coming out, like, wait a minute. And, like, you know, like, well, you're not part of that. What are you talking about? This is what I'm, okay, so yeah, so you do it by tens, huh? Because everybody wants that, huh? It's like, oh yeah, and then you start thinking to yourself, like, what I thought of myself like, on general, like, oh wait, no, okay, look. Now, then you get a plethora of ideas. Like, well, let's bring this to the table. I want to see what this wavelength looks like. By tens and by twenties and whatnot, and say, well, such and such, and put less spheres. I'm like, yeah, you're kind of right. That's a more accurate description, if you will. And with And even I don't want to say, in back to New Yorker style. Wait a minute. I was trying to get to a point where, but I was trying to count by tens, but then it didn't happen. And then said, and then you get smarts, right? And everybody's like, oh, well, you know what? We've been doing this since 5:05. Like, the time has been going on, and I'm throwing myself off again. And I'm just saying, whatever. I take that snag and I say, well, on my accents alone, on my lexicon, if you will, on my lexicon to say, well, you know what I'm talking about, Port William. I don't even say Port William anymore, and the only reason I don't say Port William anymore is because there's a whole lot of things that go into that, and it goes back to what I was saying about 30, 40 grand soap. Now I'm talking about. And let's see how it gets real brash. It gets real brash.